so glad we're going to be the first one because with all workshops, we are always the first one. Maybe we should relabel our name to the Cook Islands rather than Cook Islands. So our legislation actually, although we encourage foreign investment, the spirit of our Development and Investment Act actually puts the ownership and the onus on Cook Islanders to own businesses. So we would prefer that Cook Islanders own businesses in the Cook Islands, but if in the event that Cook Islands people cannot make the investment in certain businesses, then we will open up to foreign investment. That's always been the spirit of our act. However, there are things that we think that we need to do to bring our Development and Investment Act to the 21st and 22nd century so that we can better, not so much open our economy up, but, flag that these industries are, open to foreign investments. And the basic rule is that industries that Cook Islanders cannot participate in, then that's open to foreign investment. And these sectors are like seabed minerals. As you know, we have 3 companies currently exploring opportunities for seabed mining in the Cook Islands. So that has already been opened up. Telecommunications is open to anyone to come and participate in. We now have a regulator that's doing that's regulating people coming into the market. The problem with the Cook Islands in terms of telecommunications is our population is very low. So it's basically a liability if you don't have the infrastructure set up. But yet the investment in terms of telecommunications is still quite, there's still investment coming in without them actually doing their homework in terms of profitability and sustainability of the business. Anyway, that's just a little spiel now that we've got, okay, so I'm really bad at this. Okay, so we're going to be talking about foreign investment and aftercare in the Cook Islands. We do have some as stipulated by our Act. So what we're going to tell you is what our Act actually mandates us to do in terms of aftercare. There's no mandating of BTRB to do investment aftercare. In terms of investment promotion. However, BTRB does take on the role and responsibility. Apart from regulating foreign investment, we also do, investment promotion. Okay, so what are we doing in this space? Quite a bit. We do promoting, facilitating, and as you've seen the video before, that's what we do. And we've done it in 3 languages, English, French, and Italian. And the reason for these languages is because we are trying to target the European market to be investors in the Cook Islands. Right now, we have about 136 foreign investors in the Cook Islands, and they're mainly from Australia and New Zealand. So that's our main market for investment. And the majority of the sectors they invest in are tourism. It's tourism accommodation. So yes, so we dovetail with tourism promotion, as I've said before. Pre-COVID, we used to go with tourism because they've got more money than we have. We run with them. They're going to go to Europe. We send one of our officers to promote Cook Islands. So that's what we've done. And with our tourism promotion video, we actually contracted someone who used to do work for Cook Islands Tourism to develop our video. So we do have capacity in country to do investment promotion work. So we're going to use that as much as possible. We use the investment code for guidance on investment areas. Our investment areas are very specific, investment code, very specific on which sectors foreign investment can invest in. So it's sectors like any food sector, retail, agriculture, marine sports. Those areas are reserved for Cook Islanders. Anything cultural, what else? But there's also a whole host of other areas that we haven't drawn the line on. We haven't reserved, and that is medical, professional services, technology. So these are whole other sectors that needs to be that is open up for foreign investment. If you have a look in our code, I don't remember, all the sectors that has been reserved for the Cook Islands. So if you look in there, then you'll find it. All required documentation on BTIB website. Every information that you need for foreign investment is on our website. And if it's not there, please let us know. We'll put it on. Yeah. Okay, so what do we do in terms, so I'm going to talk to you about promotion as well as aftercare. What do we do for aftercare? We do site visits, and this is an annual event that we do. So this is the responsibility of Noelle. She's just been employed from January this year to do this work. The person that was doing this work before her is going to be retiring at the end of the month. He needs to go home and, plant his taro, and he wants to retire. So they're going through a transition phase. So Noelle is learning as much as she can from Papa before he takes on retirement. And so the site visits also, the purpose for the site visit is to have a look at whether the foreign investors are complying with the terms and conditions of the approval. So when they apply for foreign investment registration, if they get approved, they get given a terms and conditions in which they need to comply within. Now, these terms and conditions are strictly for the purpose of informing them that this is your boundary, you cannot jump outside of it. To jump out of it, you have to come back to us and ask us for permission. And jumping out of it means transferring of shares. It also means undertaking other activities. So when, say for example, a foreign investor invests into carrying out business to manage, say, tourism accommodation, like an accommodation. So the terms and condition would say that you're only approved to carry out activity within the accommodation sector, full stop, only. So if you want to provide a restaurant for your guests to dine in, so that means you have to come back to us and ask us for approval. If that approval is not granted, you have no permission. That means you have no permission to carry out that activity within the Cook Islands. If you still continue to do that, we will be on your back with the police. So that's how strict our rules are. And because the Cook Islands is a very small place, we will know. And we also have people who talk. Your neighbors will be looking at you if you're a foreign investor. Your neighbors will be peeking over the fence and saying, oh, and then they'll come and talk to us. So we very much depend on, community to inform us or to complain about the foreign investor or there's a whole lot of things that happen. So when the question was asked, what's my job? It's all that. It's all managing those complaints, those information, because I have a board to report to. And if the board is not satisfied with what we do, then I'm the one that gets into trouble, not my staff. So that's, yeah. Annual returns. So every year they need to tell us how much profit they've made, what's the revenue, what's the expense, how much tax they've paid. And we also need to make sure that they've paid their taxes. So they give us their profit and loss and balance sheet. And so we go through it. If we notice a drop in their revenue, we ask questions. And that we ask them when we go and do site visits or we arrange meetings with them. So our relationship with these foreign investors is quite defined in a way. And any complaints about them, we get them into the office and we tell them there's been a complaint about you, and so if the foreign investor has been fishing and not staying within their area of responsibility, then we go and say, what are you doing with your fish? Are you selling it? So what they do is when foreign investors come in, we encourage them to take up voluntary work. Because if they go in and do paid work, that's where the definition of carrying on business in our legislation, kicks in. And so if they're carrying on business without our approval, then they've violated our legislation. So it's all those kind of things that we deal with. And that's the aftercare that we provide. Yeah. So annual returns, we see if they're working and not just sun tanning. Investor permits, we have a good working relationship with immigration, where now it's every 3 years. It used to be every year. They come in, their investor permit will have to be renewed. And upon the renewal, they need our support. So immigration look to us to give a letter of support for the granting of investment permit. If we don't grant the support, no investor permit will be renewed. So that's the impact we have on immigration and foreign investment. And we also have STBs, what we call STB, short-term consultants that come into the Cook Islands to do work. You also need to apply for registration of foreign enterprise. Because what that indicates is that you're going to be carrying on work in the Cook Islands, regardless who's paying you, whether it's the Cook Islands government or regional agency or company, international company, it does not matter. You come into the Cook Islands to do consultancy work, you will have to register and you have to tell us, you have to declare a lot of information to us. And so what we want to know is, we want to know the value of your work. What are you going to do? Can a Cook Islander do that? Or shall we get a Cook Islander to counterpart with you? So if you're coming in to do an area of work that there is not a lot of Cook Islanders that's familiar with it, okay, we'll allow you, but we're going to put a caveat in there that you have to counterpart and teach these Cook Islanders how to do your work, so that in future, you don't have to come back and do it, we can do it ourselves. So that's the whole idea. And that's why I was saying before that our legislation, which is the Development and Investment Act, favors Cook Islanders. They don't favor foreign investment. We've had a whole lot of complaints about our legislation, that it's outdated, that it's, it's got lots of gaps in it. And these complaints are coming from where? From international agencies who don't like that provision. They don't like the spirit of our act, that we favor Cook Islanders. But that's our country, and we don't want to go down the same path as Hawaii is experiencing, that Tahiti is experiencing. We're looking at these two countries and we said, we don't want to be like you. We want to own the business. So part of the work, see, I told you I'm really bad at this, so I'm running ahead with this, yeah. So one of the things we're doing is, we know that a lot more Cook Islanders are living abroad. So because a lot more Cook Islanders are living abroad, we've developed, we have a marketing plan that actually targets Cook Islanders living in New Zealand and Australia. And we're also, but before the marketing plan was even created, we were actually doing things. So last year we started accessing community pages, Cook Islands community pages of Cook Islanders in Australia. And I mean by states. So we go Adelaide, Sydney, Melbourne, Perth, all these community, groups of communities around Australia, and then New Zealand, from the top of New Zealand to the bottom. We've managed to have some respond, and others no response. So what we do is, all the businesses that gets put on the retail, the real estate websites, for sale in the Cook Islands, we grab them and then send them to these community pages. Because the purpose of that is to encourage our people to please invest in our own country. So while we promote foreign investment, we also promote Cook Islands investment, because we want them to come back. We want them to own the business. We want them to be the ones to come back and we know that they're earning money. We know that they're earning good money in the mines. So when are they going to stop working for the mines? When are they going to stop living in New Zealand? So, so the purpose here is to draw them back to the Cook Islands. So how do we work with private sector? We do business training with the private sector, and any foreign investors that want to, come in. A lot of our foreign investors, they invest in an area they have no idea in. So we have lots of engineers actually sitting in the Cook Islands, wanting jobs in the infrastructure Cook Islands, and engineering jobs that are around. For them to do that, we have to grant them permission. If they don't get permission, then they cannot undertake those contracts. So for businesses, small businesses, medium-sized businesses, and any business that want to do business training, we provide them those trainings for them. And our range of trainings, go from basic accounting to pricing and costing to marketing to whatever. And this is the business training that we're hoping that we can upload through one of our projects. Thank you, Pate. Through one of our national projects. It's the digitizing of these business trainings. So we can upload it on our website, create a chat page, and have these sitting there. So anyone in the Cook Islands who wants to access business training that's specific for the Cook Islands, it's going to be on our website. So coordinate with Chamber of Commerce, private sector opportunities, any opportunities that come through, we flick them over to the chamber, and and vice versa. Sometimes we get them, sometimes we don't. And we also provide assistance to them because their mandate really is to serve their members and not the whole of the private sector. We do provide trade days that promotes businesses. Any business that wants to, to promote themselves, on a one-to-one basis, trade day is available during the Constitution celebration period. We do free promotion of businesses on our Te Makete website, on Facebook pages. So that's Noelle's job. She does the promotion, and any new business that comes up, she goes and takes photos, get information, upload them on our website and our Facebook pages. So that's part of her role. So what works well in our context? I think the investment video promotion is working. Even tour groups, tourism tour groups would like to pick that up again, but we're still regrouping after COVID and trying to see, okay, which market we're going to target this time around. Online platforms has been working for us wonders during COVID. That's been our go-to. Site visits works for us, and also Coconut Wireless. The community news that goes faster than than social media, that one. Annual returns really works for us. So that's working quite well. Investment code is a good safeguard for Cook Islanders, but that's soon going to be reviewed. And we also provide advisory service. Anytime any foreign investor wants advice on anything, even though they've come in, they've been registered, they've carried on business, if they need advice on anything relating to foreign investment or anything at all, then we'll provide them, or we'll point them to to people that has more expertise, depending on the area of discussion. So challenges with our current aftercare, we have insufficient monitoring and on exit businesses. So what these people do is when foreign investors come, they know they're not, they need to exit. Sometimes they just up and leave without telling us that they're upping and leaving. Sometimes our Coconut Wireless fails in that regard, like people don't come and tell us that they're leaving. And the next thing we know, they've already gone, and we need to revoke them from our business registry. No comparative advantage with other countries in terms of tax and industry liberalizations. I know that some countries have very low tax rate. Our tax rate is 28% for foreign companies, and for local companies 20%. So if you're a foreign investor, you are paying 28%, and you have to pay 28% until you get classified as local company. And the only way of declassifying you as a foreign investor is if you get your PR, which then means you're Cook Islander, and then you get struck off our list, and you're no longer a foreign investor. That means you're a local person. Depending on community, we're very much dependent on community for our information, because there are more eyes and ears out there than just Noelle, because she's the only one doing monitoring and compliance that our budget allows. So any complaints you have, just forward it to her. She will she will manage the complaints for foreign investors who are not behaving. Yeah. Okay, so that's all we have. Thank you for your attention and thank you for listening.
Thanks, Repeta. Does anyone have any questions for the Cook Islands? Kiribati.
Sorry, thank you for that very good presentation. It was inspiring for us. Just interested to, I just want to pick on your comment with the annual returns. How is that working out? I saw that it's been working out well for Cook Islands, but were there any hiccups or challenges that you face?
Okay, the only hiccup and challenges we have is honesty from these foreign investors. Sometimes what they file with our with Ministry of Justice, who's responsible for company registration, and with revenue management, which is our tax collecting agency, is different to what they give us. So and then because they forget that we compare, we share information. With that, we get to know that they've been dishonest with their annual returns. Yeah. So sometimes they don't tell us that they've made profit, certain amount of profits. Sometimes these foreign investors leak money from the country. So leakages are not. Sometimes they are not included in their annual returns, which should be, but they're not. But we do have. Sometimes our mechanism for tracking that works. Other times it doesn't. So yeah, that's the only drawback with annual returns. Yeah.
I'm interested to know that because I'm just wondering how you would assess foreign investor getting a PR. So would that contribute to?
Yeah, our Immigration Act actually stipulates that for New Zealand passport holders, it's 5 years continuous staying in the Cook Islands. Then that's the first step to qualifying to getting PR. And for all other passport holders, it's 10 years. Yeah, but I think that's been reviewed. Yeah, I'm not sure. But with that, once they become a Cook Islander, they then get deregistered from our registry, and so our monitoring and compliance services no longer apply to them. Yeah, we don't even want to see you. If you're Cook Islander, yeah, okay, great. We focus on others that are foreign investors. And so while I say we have 136 foreign investors currently right now, it fluctuates because there are some businesses that get revoked. There are some that gets registered on. So yeah, so it's a moving target. Yeah.
Thank you.
We might just take one more question just in terms of time, and then we'll open up the floor for questions at the end of all the presentations for additional questions. So is there any other questions for Repeta? Okay, if not, Alapatu.
Thank you, Repeta. My question is just a quick one on the different rates, tax for foreign investors and local investors. Yeah. Do you think that breaches your commitments under PACER Plus, national treatment commitments? Thank you.
Yes, because apparently it's what do you call that? There is exception to that, isn't there? Because I remember there was discussion on that issue, and Nina, who drafted our schedule, actually we had discussions on that, and I'm sure it's included in the exceptions. Yeah, one confirm, please. Yeah.
Okay, we might just put our hands together for Repeta for her presentation.